Hello guys, Mark aka the Nerdy Punk back with you again today for a new video. Today's video, as you know if you clicked on the title, is going to be my entire horror Blu-ray collection. So every year since I've started doing YouTube, most of the time during the summer, I have done an entire Blu-ray collection or DVD collection. When I first started doing YouTube back in 2016, my very first video on this channel was a complete DVD collection. I only had one Blu-ray at the time. So it shows how crazy my Blu-ray collection has grown. And then also, if you fast forward in 2017 when I did my complete Blu-ray collection, I only had 2 horror Blu-rays. So the collection that you're going to see here is much larger. So in only 2 years, you can see how much it has grown very quickly. But for various reasons, I don't think I'm going to be doing an entire Blu-ray collection this year. My Blu-ray collection is kind of spread over 2 houses, so I have a lot of them where I live here, but I also believe that I have left a few Blu-rays of the non-horror variety at home and with my parents. So what I did was, here, I'll go ahead and briefly show you real quick before we get into it. My room is an absolute mess, so please bear with me. But I have behind me here, down here, I have most of my standard Blu-rays. And they're very unorganized and very all over the place right now at the moment because I only have this small room here. You can see my makeshift tripod there. I only have this really small room here to kind of organize all of my stuff. And I have a lot of shit. So it's been hard for me to keep things organized and keep it without being an absolute mess. What I did is I had my horror Blu-rays on that shelf there. And so they were completely separate from the rest of my Blu-ray collection. And so it was easy to get them out and to show them off. Plus, horror is my favorite genre. Go ahead and set you guys down there. Don't get too scared. Alright, hopefully no one got seasick with that tour there. But horror has also become my favorite genre, by far. Which is interesting because I didn't watch any scary movies until I got in my early 20s here. So, anyway, without further rambling, I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to maybe say a couple words about each movie, but we're going to try to keep it as short as possible so we can get through all of these films here. There will be a lot of them that are unopened. Those are largely from the Horror Pack service, which I do recommend is a good service if you're looking to get into horror movies and you don't really know what you like. They give you a lot of stuff that I have never heard about. Most of the Blu-rays that I've gotten are ones that I have never seen before. So I've been able to check out a few others that are still wrapped or ones that I haven't checked out yet, obviously. First up is 31. This is a Rob Zombie movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I picked it up for pretty cheap. I'm actually going to see Rob Zombie in concert with Marilyn Manson on Sunday, so that's going to be fun. Look out for that video if it's not up before this one. I've got A Cure for Wellness, an incredibly underrated film from 2017. It's a gorgeous movie. A couple of the shots in this film look like they're like demo quality for like a new awesome HD camera or something. I have the Alien Anthology box set, which has the first 4 Alien films. I sat down and watched all of these with a friend earlier this year, I think, in like February, and I absolutely loved every one of them. Every one of them for completely different reasons. Alien is a classic horror film, horror sci-fi. Aliens is an incredible action movie. Alien 3, I think, is actually kind of underrated. I actually do enjoy it. I know a lot of people love to hate on that movie, but it's also David Fincher's first film. I love David Fincher. And Alien Resurrection is just incredible, like, cheese fest. So interesting. This comes in actually a box set here, which is pretty cool. It's got all kinds of pictures for each movie and the discs in there. So yeah, Might do an unboxing of that one of these days. It's like a complete video for that set. Alien Covenant, which is the newest one that just came out, directed by Ridley Scott. And I have Alien vs. Predator. I actually have Prometheus, but for whatever reason, I think of Prometheus as more of a sci-fi film, so I have it in my sci-fi collection, whereas I have the rest of the Alien collection in my horror collection, so I don't know. Prometheus is definitely not a horror movie. I don't know about... most of the Alien series I do consider horror, but they also obviously have the sci-fi elements as well. American Psycho, one of my favorite movies of all time. Incredible Christian Bale performance. I have the Amityville Horror Trilogy. This is from Scream Factory. It has the first 3 Amityville movies. I have only seen the first one, which I actually thought was kind of, just so-so. It wasn't that great to me. Then I have Annabelle, which I have not seen. I've heard that Annabelle Creation is much better than this. But let's see, I've got Blu-rays on the floor here, so I'm trying to pick them up and get myself another stack to go through. Anti-Birth. This is one of those horror pack ones, still sealed. I've seen really good trailers for this, and it looks actually really interesting. So, I believe this teenage girl, who is actually played by one of the characters in American Pie, I believe. I don't know, Natasha Lyonne, I believe is her name. She apparently gets pregnant with like this monster thing, which is kind of interesting. This is an IFC Midnight title, which is also a Scream Factory release. That's another good thing about horror pack, is you usually get at least one Scream Factory title, as well as the exclusive Blu-ray from horror pack. Every month there's a Blu-ray that is only exclusive to the horror pack. This is the only Criterion in my entire Blu-ray collection, not just horror. This is Antichrist, Lars von Trier. One of the only movies that really shocked me. Like, I had my jaw open for half of this movie. Incredibly powerful visuals. Very gross visuals. Yeah, this movie kind of fucked me up for a little while. Definitely interested in watching more Lars von Trier. Apartment 143, which I believe is this foreign language horror movie. I haven't seen it yet. A Quiet Place. Really good film from last year. Yeah, interesting kind of gimmick with it, where there's not a whole lot of dialogue in the movie. Army of Frankensteins, which is a Scream Factory title. It's still sealed. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know, like a Civil War horror film. Just kind of interesting. The Autopsy of Jane Doe, another Scream Factory title. I absolutely love this movie. It was so good. Baskin, which is actually from the horror pack. I have watched this, even though it's sealed. I watched it last Halloween. I did a very short review on my Halloween special of this movie, and another fantastic one. Really trippy, weird, tons of symbolism in this. The Black Coat's Daughter, which, if you can tell by the sticker, I picked up a family video. This is a DVD. I believe there's one more DVD in this collection. So yeah. This is an interesting one. I thought it would be better than it was. It is an A24 film, which is what got me kind of interested in it. I believe I heard somebody on YouTube say that this was very good. I did enjoy it, but yeah. Could have been a little bit better, perhaps. The Bye-Bye Man, which is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But it's kind of one of those movies that's so bad it's good. Cabin Fever Patient Zero. Still sealed. I haven't checked it out yet. Carrie, the remake. Chillerama, another one of the horror pack titles that I haven't checked out yet. The Collector, heard really good things, just haven't watched it yet. It's a lot that I haven't seen. Please forgive me for that. The Conjuring 2, I have seen the first Conjuring and really enjoyed it, so I believe I actually picked this up before I had even seen the first Conjuring, so interested to check this one out. I've seen, out of the Conjuring universe, I've seen the first one, and I've seen The Nun, and I think I saw another one, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway. Crimson Peak, Guillermo del Toro film, I haven't seen, but I bought this when I was on the Guillermo del Toro craze after Shape of Water. The Crow, which is the famous movie where Brandon Lee was killed accidentally during the filming of this. Very dark. I don't really know if this fits 100% into horror. I believe it's a comic book adaptation, but I felt like that it fit more in the horror section than the comic book section, so that's why it's in here. Alright, trying to pick up this next stack here without dropping everything. Alright, The Devil's Due, which I believe is about this girl who gets pregnant with the child of Satan. So that sounds interesting. Haven't seen it yet. Donnie Darko, potentially one of my favorite movies of all time. Really great early performance from Jake Gyllenhaal. Just a really messed up movie that really makes you think. Like, you have to analyze this film to understand it. Don't Knock Twice, which is a Scream Factory IFC Midnight title. Haven't seen it. Drag Me to Hell. Believe this is a remake. I'm not entirely sure, but I haven't seen it or the original, if there is an original. Edward Scissorhands. There will be a couple movies that are kind of bordering genres. They're not entirely horror, but I feel like they fit, decently into the horror sections. That's why they're in there. Big fan of Johnny Depp, but I haven't seen this. I've heard it's delightfully strange, so definitely right up my alley. Another one that I'm not quite sure fits in the horror section is Enemy. Incredibly underrated Jake Gyllenhaal movie. This is from A24 as well. A really interesting movie about the relationships between men and women and kind of how men treat women at times and see them. Really interesting, trippy movie. Definitely recommended. The Exorcism of Molly Hartley. Haven't seen this one yet. Looks incredibly creepy from the cover. Boris Karloff's Frankenstein. This is a glow-in-the-dark cover. Another one that came from Horror Pack. Friday the 13th. I believe this is the only other DVD. This is the 8-movie collection. It has everything from the original through Part 8, which is Jason Takes Manhattan. So it has a list of the films there. I think Friday the 13th, the original, and perhaps Part 2 as well, my favorite slasher films. Jason is my favorite slasher character, just barely edging out Michael Myers. And then I have the first one, uncut on Blu-ray. Such a classic movie. I have Fright Night 2, which is the sequel to the remake. So the Fright Night, I believe, came out in the 80s. They did a remake in the 2000s, and they did the sequel to the remake here. I haven't seen it, but pretty sure it's not going to be very good. Let's see. The Gallows. Every School Has Its Spirit. Still sealed. This is a Blumhouse movie, so that's interesting. Might have to check that one out soon. Alright, new stack. I'm gonna have to count through and see how many horror Blu-rays I have. I know it's close to 100, if not more. Get Out, which I think is slightly overrated. Not to be confused, this is a good movie. I really enjoy it, and Jordan Peele is definitely a great director. But I actually do prefer Us, which just came out this year, which I actually don't have on Blu-ray yet, but it will definitely be added to the collection soon. But I don't know, this movie, it obviously captured the zeitgeist of society for a while when it came out, and I definitely enjoyed it. That's not to be misconstrued here. I definitely love this movie, but I don't know, I feel like it's slightly overrated. It's not the greatest, horror film ever made or anything. But I do love what Jordan Peele has been doing lately. The Gift, which is a very strange movie. It's got Jason Bateman in it, which is interesting. One of his more serious roles. The classic Halloween. Love this film. Got the Steelbook of Halloween 2, which is the Scream Factory exclusive. I have Halloween from 2018. And Halloween 1 and 2, Rob Zombie edition. The reboot. So, out of the Halloween series, I have seen the first one, I have seen the 2018 version, and I have seen Halloween, the Rob Zombie first one. I need to see the rest of them, obviously. I need to get the rest of them on Blu-ray. But just classic slasher movies. The first Halloween pretty much birthed the slasher genre as a whole. And so, just an incredibly significant film for that reason. But I actually do enjoy the new one and Rob Zombie's first one. It's nowhere near as good as the original, obviously, but I really do like what Rob Zombie did with the first half of that movie, where it was kind of more about Michael Myers' childhood, and you learned a lot more about Michael Myers. He was a little bit more of a sympathetic character. In the first half of that movie, I feel like the second half was a lot weaker. It was basically just the same as John Carpenter's movie, but a more updated, modern take on it. More nudity, more blood, more gore, stuff like that. It really didn't add much to the series at all for the second half of that film, but the first half I thought was very good. Next up, Hereditary, another A24 movie, one of my favorite horror films of all time now. Ari Aster is just great at crafting an image and have images stick in your head, especially with his newest film, Midsummer, which I think I'm going to go see for the second time in theaters tonight, actually. But there is still a movie. There's still an image from that movie. I saw that movie first about a week and a half ago. There is still an image from that film that is burned into my brain from that week and a half. So, yeah, I love that movie. I understand why some people might think it's a bit overrated, because it has been hyped up as such a great movie. And so I understand that may have a negative effect, actually, on the film, because people may go see it and they'll be like, well, this isn't the greatest thing ever made. But I definitely love the movie. I Spit on Your Grave and I Spit on Your Grave 2. So this is a remake, I believe, from the 70s, and the sequel to the remake. It, the remake from 2017. Really good. I'm very excited for Chapter 2 to come out this fall. Got It Follows, which is a really good horror movie from just the past few years. Kind of about a demonic STD, which is interesting, to say the least. Kind of slide some Blu-rays back here. Alright. Got Jaws, which I finally watched for the first time last week. Which I know, how am I supposed to be a movie buff if I haven't seen Jaws? But it was good. I was never really big on the whole shark thing, but this was incredibly well done. Such a great movie. Knock Knock, which is like Keanu Reeves. He has these two gorgeous girls show up to his house, and basically they seduce him, and then they start trying to kill him. So just a fun film. Life Changer, which came in this strange package. This is the horror pack exclusive. I am not sure what this is about. It says Drew has an identity problem. Every few days he has to shapeshift or face a painful death. He has to find someone and make a copy. He takes everything. Their looks, memories, hopes, and dreams. Their entire life. He becomes them and they die horribly. Their entire life, he becomes them. And, skipping. Lately, the changes are becoming more frequent. Facing his imminent death, Drew sets out on one final blood-soaked mission. So that sounds interesting. Most of the horror pack exclusives are these kind of lower budget horror movies, which is a good way to see them, because I probably wouldn't otherwise. Let Me In, which is a remake of Let the Right One In. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's definitely marketed toward the younger audiences. Like I said, I don't know if it kind of fits wholly into the horror section, but put it there anyway. Alright, next stack. We're working our way through. We're probably at least halfway through at this point. Got Mother, which is a Darren Aronofsky film from 2017. Yep. This is a film that people either love or hate. I absolutely loved it. So much symbolism. Just an incredible amount of symbolism there. Next one, Nocturnal Animals, which I have not seen, but it has Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams, two of my favorite actors and actresses, so definitely interested in checking it out. The Number 23 with Jim Carrey. Haven't seen this one either. It looks interesting and very dark. Paranormal Activity 1, 2, and 3. Haven't seen any of these. The Poughkeepsie Tapes, which I had mixed feelings about this one. It was kind of a strange movie. I feel like it tried to be super, super dark, but it really didn't feel that way. It was kind of one of those, like the fake documentary style, mockumentary. Yeah, it was a mockumentary film. And I felt like it was trying to kind of be funny and really super dark at the same time. So it didn't really have as much of a impact on me. Still a good movie. That's a Scream Factory title. Psycho, absolute classic. This was the first horror Blu-ray that I ever bought. Still love the film. One of my favorite black and white movies, for sure. Got The Purge, Anarchy. This is the one and only Purge movie in my collection. I would like to get the rest of them and watch them one day. The Pyramid, which is still sealed. From what I hear, this is kind of a found footage mummy film. Got Quarantine, which has my #1 celebrity crush, Jennifer Carpenter. She was very famous for her role on Dexter, and that's where I first discovered her. But this is the remake of Wreck. So this Quarantine is pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of the first Rec film. So I've seen this one. I really liked it. I haven't seen any of these, but I have the Rec collection, which is the 4 Rec films. This is a really sturdy box set. These are Spanish language found footage movies. And so Quarantine was a shot-for-shot remake in English for the American audiences. So I'm really interested in seeing these. The Resident, which is an interesting horror movie with Hilary Swank and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I really like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's a good actor. It's a weird movie, but interesting. Kind of like a stalker film. Alright, next stack. This is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I absolutely love the music to this. I haven't seen it yet, but I love the music. This was like the 40th anniversary edition. Came with this box set here, which you open it up, see the picture of the characters there, and then you slide it out if it wants to. There we go. So when you slide it out, you have the Blu-ray copy. It used to actually come with fishnet stockings, but those are not in here. It just has the gloves that it came with. And then it comes with the Blu-ray and the soundtrack on CD. Alright. Next is Rotten Tail, which looks like this weird rat guy. Yeah, I can't see myself watching this anytime soon. Looks really, really gross and disgusting. Try to make some more room over here. Next up is the Saw. This is a 7-film collection, so this is every film up until Jigsaw, which just came out. So Saw 1, Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the final chapter. I love the first Saw movie. I got part of the way through the second one and then stopped watching. But I absolutely love the first one. She Kills, a horror pack Blu-ray, low budget horror movie from what I've seen. The Shining, which I know I haven't seen. I'm sorry. Shutter Island. Not sure how well this fits into the horror collection either, but it sounds very strange. So, figured it would fit in there. Sinister. Haven't seen that one either. I know. I'm bad. This one. Definitely my top 3 slashers of all time. Sleepaway Camp. Love this movie. Most of the movie is just glorious 80s cheese. And then you have the twist ending at the very end, which completely changes the entire movie and makes it so much more fucked up. So such a great film. This is the Scream Factory exclusive. Shame that I didn't get into this film sooner, because I could have got the slipcover, which would have been even cooler, but either way, I've got it on Blu-ray, so no need to complain there. Slumber Party Massacre, another Scream Factory title. Sorority Row. Species, another Scream Factory Collector's Edition. So I've got that's the custom artwork, and then the regular artwork. See if I can get this back in its slipcover there. Split. The Strangers. The Strangers Prey at Night, which I actually think is kind of underrated. Yes, it's not the best movie in the world, but it's a real throwback to 80s slasher movies. So I really did enjoy it. Great soundtrack as well. This movie, though, every single character makes the stupidest decisions in the world. You almost don't feel bad that they're dying because they're making such dumb decisions. Alright, we got the last stack of Blu-rays here. Thale, which this is a very strange looking low budget movie. I want to say this is from Finland or some other country. I'm not sure, but it's got this weird chick. I mean, it does have a naked chick on the cover, so I guess we all know why I bought it. But she has a tail, so that's no ordinary naked chick. So yeah, it sounds interesting. I haven't seen it. Trick or Treat, which is one of my favorite anthologies. See that, there's your other alternative artwork. Again, a Scream Factory one, obviously. Got Truth or Dare, which is an absolutely terrible, terrible horror movie from last year. 2018 or 2017. 2017. Yeah, it's really not very good. But it's almost, again, one of those that's so bad that it is good. The Unborn, which I have not seen, looked creepy and interesting. Valentine, which is a Scream Factory. This one was interesting. It was a really cheesy slasher movie. I didn't hate it, didn't love it either. The Visit, which I believe is the killer grandparent movie. This is Vivid. Still sealed, I haven't seen it. Horror pack. Another one of those, Walled In. Probably like a claustrophobic horror. Way of the Wicked, which has Christian Slater. Last two. The Wicker Man, starring Nicolas Cage. I needed to see the first Wicker Man, but this movie is just so much Nicolas Cage. I'm a massive fan of Nicolas Cage. I love his over-the-top comedic performance. And finally, the Werewolf the Beast Among Us, another horror pack that I have not seen. There they are, all of my horror Blu-rays in one place in this video. Go ahead and leave me your comments down below on your favorites in my collection, as well as your favorite horror movies of all time. You know, what's in your guys' collection, I'd be interested to see. Yeah, like I said, I've been really getting into horror the past few years, so I think my favorite horror movie, it would be really hard to choose. The original Alien would be in there. Friday the 13th would be in there. Yeah, it would have to be something that I would sit down and think about a lot, but those are definitely some of my favorites of all time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, leave me a like, hit that comment section down below, hit the subscribe button down below, stay tuned for future videos, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye.